I'm really interested in like your foods that like you think really worked and really worked for your clients when you were a clinical nutritionist.
Hey everyone, it's Sharon Brown, founder of Bonafide Provisions.
And I'm Grace, marketing manager at Bonafide Provisions. And today we are going to talk about Sharon's favorite foods to support gut health, or at least for what you've seen for the most amount of people, because obviously not everything is going to work for everybody. Every body is different.
Good question, Grace.
Thank you.
I mean, obviously, bone broth. We're going to do that one for last because I don't want you to think that this is a sales
Toot our
pitch.
own horn.
Yeah, we're not. Exactly. I think one of the most important products for gut health are fermented vegetables. It's an acquired taste, right?
Yeah.
And you start your babies young on, on these types of fermented foods. Ferment them yourself if you can. If you don't have time, there's really great brands on the market now. But the fermented products not only support your gut health, but they do this other thing, which is quite fascinating. They will actually, over time, teach your body to create its own hydrochloric acid. And Americans have been so afraid that, walk through any airport and you will not be able to go into one of these quick convenience places and grab a magazine and an antacid. And
Because people think it gives you heartburn.
exactly, but it's actually really the opposite. Typically, and I'm not a doctor and I'm not trying to prescribe anything for you or tell you what to do with your health. However, most people that are experiencing heartburn, it's because they don't have enough stomach acid. And so they take an antacid and then you get rid of the acid in your stomach, which you actually need to digest your food.
The food is not being digested and it's coming back up, right?
Exactly.
That's what's causing the burning.
Yes.
So the antacid it's a Band-Aid for the problem.
Exactly
it's a
what it
short-term Band-Aid.
Yeah.
But the real problem is you want the food to go down and not back up.
That's exactly it. So I totally went off on my hydrochloric acid because get me started on hydrochloric acid and
Loves it.
I just can't stop.
Sharon loves acid.
I'm all about this.
She's so
not that kind of acid. That's right.
When you say fermented foods, what do you mean?
So fermented foods, we're talking things like sauerkraut, right? Fermented beets, even fermented juice. So you'll see like these fermented little juice shots. Make sure that it's the right types of fermented foods, right? So what I mean by that is that you're buying the fermented food in the refrigerated section.
And it's raw.
It's raw,
yeah,
exactly.
Not in the aisles, not on the shelf.
Not down the aisles.
Okay.
We kind of stay away from the aisles whenever we can around Bonafide. We're
danger zone.
Exactly.
Sharon caught me in the center of a grocery store one time. It wasn't good.
No,
I was in trouble.
It wasn't. I tackled her. So really, think sauerkraut. And really, you just need a little bit. So when I'm talking about starting to incorporate fermented foods into your diet, I'm talking a half a teaspoon with every meal.
That's crazy.
Crazy. A little amount goes such a long way. Absolutely.
And you know what I've actually found? My husband, a lot of people just can't get on board with the sauerkraut, which, I like it. I don't know why. But they like the juice.
Yes.
And they will drink the juice. And my husband actually drinks pickle juice.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's so crazy and I find it too, after he works out and I work out, I had this very strong craving for pickle juice, and there's just something so refreshing about it. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But
I think that's you, Grace.
Yeah.
Although my family, when we go to Disneyland, they get the pickle and the turkey leg. So that's
classic combo.
Watch the brands at Disneyland with our
pickle and a turkey.
Anyways,
it's your Disneyland too.
That's one of my favorites. Of course, any probiotic foods. So yogurt, really, really wonderful for gut health. It does matter what kind of yogurt.
Yes. Can we talk about yogurt? Because I feel like people are like, yogurt's great, and then yogurt's the devil, and it's the worst thing you could eat. You can make your own yogurt. That is
I've done that.
Well, yes,
Back
but
in the
that's
day.
hard and time-consuming and
It's
crazy. Even with the Instant Pot, I read the instructions. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I don't have a milk thermometer, so I'm gonna buy the yogurt.
Yes.
How do you What do you look for?
You know, one of the things that I always tell everybody is know the people behind your brands. Get to know brands on Instagram, get to know brands on Facebook, and typically they'll walk you through their process and tell you everything that's in their product. So what you really want to stay from, what you're doing when you're looking at your yogurts is you're looking at what to stay away from. So things like carrageenan, guar gum, sugar.
The carrageenan and then guar, those are preservatives, right? Or
They're
stabilizers?
Thickeners.
Oh, thickener, okay.
Thickeners, they kind of make things thick.
Oh.
Yeah, and so they're additives that
Okay.
you really want to stay away from.
So you can find a yogurt that's just milk and cultures.
You absolutely can. If you can't do dairy, you can try like sheep's milk yogurt. When I
Okay.
was practicing and I worked with a lot of GAPS patients, some people couldn't tolerate cow, you know, dairy, but they could tolerate sheep's milk yogurt. It's a different type of protein, and so they did quite well with those.
Like goat.
Goat, and then goat is wonderful. Coconut is wonderful.
It's the same benefits.
It is the same benefit to the gut, which is all of that good probiotic and good bacteria that's repopulating the gut.
Yogurt, kefir.
Yogurt, kefir,
Are they the same thing?
Absolutely. Yogurt, kefir is a little bit more liquidy. You can drink it.
Okay.
It will have the same type of effect. And rotate. I mean, we're going to talk probably next week about probiotics, and we're going to talk about the importance of rotating your strains of probiotics.
Okay.
Because you're kind of trying to populate this field called your gut, and you want
a variety.
You want a variety. Variety is the spice of life.
So okay, so that's
Except when it comes to like your marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
that would be spicy. So we have probiotic
Probiotics.
foods for gut health. What else?
Oh, then of course bone broth. Bone broth was, as you all know, the main staple in my program. Prior to starting a bone broth company, I didn't start the bone broth company because I wanted to make a buck. I started the bone broth company because there was not a bone broth on the market that met my standards. And I was working with so many sick people that couldn't find one in the grocery store that was as close to home.
And it was getting results.
It was getting huge results. And the thing about bone broth that you have to remember is that it's been used by thousands of people all over the world for thousands of years to support their wellness kind of journey. And the idea behind bone broth is when you take the bones of an animal, you cook them for long periods of time, you add something like apple cider vinegar. The apple cider vinegar is there to chelate or acts like a magnet to pull all the nutrients, the bones, the collagen, the amino acids, the protein from the bones of the animal. Dump them into the broth and it becomes kind of this liquid gold. And the amino acids are probably the most important component of bone broth for the gut.
So why? Like what does it do for the gut?
So the L-glutamine in bone broth actually acts like a sewing needle. So in one of our videos, our past videos, we talked about leaky gut. So we get these little tears in our mucosal lining of the gut, and the L-glutamine in the bone broth can act like a sewing needle and go through kind of that gut lining and sew up those little tears.
So it seals
the gut, exactly.
So the bone broth seals the gut, and then the probiotics come in and help repopulate that with good bacteria.
The probiotics and the good bacteria, exactly. And then the sauerkraut teaches your body to start making the betaine hydrochloride, so the hydrochloric acid, HCl, so that you can actually start digesting your food. Digesting your food is really one of the most important things that you need to do throughout your day, because if you aren't digesting your food and you are eating organic and you're eating those grass-fed, grass-finished, pasture-raised, massaged animals, if you're not digesting the food, you might as well have a Snickers bar.
Yeah,
so digestion is so important, and those are my favorite foods for supporting your digestion and your gut health.
For gut health support, you start with the bone broth. That's going to seal the gut, and then probiotic foods. I mean, anything else to eat, or those are the top two?
You know, there's things that you want to avoid, but those are kind of the things that most Americans aren't incorporating in their foods. And then of course, you know, I'm a big proponent of eating healthy proteins and rotating your proteins. And these are all wonderful products for your gut. So grass-fed, grass-finished beef, pasture-raised chicken, pork raised on pasture, fish, wonderful foods that support gut health, and then a variety of vegetables.
And one last thing,
Yes, do ask.
teaser question.
Okay.
Well, not the most important thing, but a very important thing that most people forget when it comes to gut health
Yes.
is...
I don't know.
I don't
There's
know.
so many. What is it?
I just remember chewing your food.
Chewing your food.
Because if you don't chew your food, like, it doesn't matter how much bone broth you drink, how many probiotics you eat.
Yes.
Your stomach can't, it's not broken down. Your
Yes.
stomach has no teeth.
Yes.
And I think a lot of like just gut health, like at the highest level, at the simplest level, is like, are you helping your body, doing it a favor and breaking it down when you can?
Chew your food.
Oh, and it's hard.
Chew your food, people. I'm notorious for like shoveling.
Yeah, 3 bites. I've
Yeah.
actually counted sometimes, and it's 3 bites, and I'm swallowing.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult, but
Not good.
Yeah, I would
Not
say remember, just am I even chewing my food?
Yeah.
Before we even go down the road of what I'm chewing is
Yeah.
like, am I chewing it?
Am I chewing it? That's a good place to start.
Yeah.
I agree, Grace. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for adding that.
Okay, friends, well, that's all we have for you today. And in the next video, we're going to talk about, are you making these gut health mistakes? So maybe some things that you're eating that you think are super healthy that might actually be working against you. If you liked this video, then hit the little heart, and share it with someone that you think it would be beneficial for. Any questions, let us know in the comments. Let us know if you'd like us to talk about any other topics.
I want to say what that cute girl on E! News always says, swipe up to subscribe. Are we going to do that? Swipe up to subscribe.
Yes, swipe up to subscribe. Do it.
Swipe up to subscribe.
Subscribe, rate, review, subscribe. Follow us on all of the social networks. Bonafide Provisions.